In 2020, a story began spreading across the United States that captured the attention of millions. It claimed that one of the world's largest financial companies, BlackRock, was quietly buying up single-family homes across America, turning them into rental properties, and driving ordinary families out of the housing market. The idea of a powerful corporation owning vast neighborhoods, raising rents, and turning homeownership into a dream only for the rich created widespread outrage. The rumor spread so quickly that BlackRock itself had to respond. In an official statement titled "Setting the Record Straight," the company declared that it was not buying individual homes. It insisted that it only invested in large residential projects, multifamily housing, and apartment complexes. The controversy faded, but the memory remained. It left behind a deep question that still haunts people today. How much power does a company like BlackRock truly have over our lives? Today, that same unease is returning, but this time it's not about homes. It's about something even more essential: energy, electricity, and the basic systems that keep modern life running. BlackRock is once again expanding its empire, but now its focus is on owning the utilities that provide power to homes, businesses, and industries. For many people, this is terrifying news. If a company with this much financial power begins to control electricity, water, and waste management, what happens to the prices we pay? What happens when profit, not necessity, becomes the guiding principle of the systems that keep our lights on? These questions are not abstract. They are becoming real. To understand the danger, we first need to understand what BlackRock really is. BlackRock is not a bank, not a government agency, and not a typical company selling a product. It is the world's largest asset manager, meaning it manages money on behalf of others. Investors from all over the world, including pension funds, governments, and wealthy individuals, give their money to BlackRock. The company then uses this money to buy assets, companies, real estate, infrastructure, and now utilities. When these assets make profits, the profits are shared back with investors. BlackRock keeps a small percentage as its management fee. This system has made the company immensely powerful because it doesn't just own pieces of companies, it owns pieces of everything. For decades, asset managers like BlackRock used to buy only stocks and bonds, instruments traded in the financial markets. But now, a dramatic shift is happening. These companies are no longer satisfied with paper assets. They want to own the physical world, the infrastructure that supports human civilization. In recent years, BlackRock has begun acquiring energy companies, transportation systems, and water utilities. In 2024, it acquired Global Infrastructure Partners, a major company that owns assets in energy, transport, water, and waste management. This move was not random. It was a strategic part of a long-term transformation of the financial landscape. And now, BlackRock is reportedly negotiating to buy Minnesota Power, a utility that provides electricity to 150,000 people in the United States. For many observers, this is a turning point. The same company that already influences the world's stock markets is now extending its reach into the lifeblood of the modern economy, electricity. Why does this matter? Because electricity is not optional. It is not a luxury product that people can choose to buy or not buy. It is a basic necessity. Every home, every hospital, every factory depends on it. If a company driven by profits gains control of this essential system, it gains influence not just over markets, but over people's lives. Imagine a future where electricity prices rise, not because of fuel shortages, but because financial giants want higher returns. Imagine a world where the same companies that dominate Wall Street also own the power plants, the water systems, and the roads. This is not a dystopian movie. It is a possible reality that is already being built step by step. To see how this kind of power works, we need to look inside the corporate structure that drives the modern economy. Every company has employees, managers, and at the top, a chief executive officer, or CEO. Most people think the CEO is the ultimate boss. But in truth, The CEO serves someone else, the shareholders. By law, a CEO's primary duty is to maximize the wealth of the shareholders, not to serve the public, not even to protect employees or customers. This is called fiduciary duty. That means every decision a company makes, from raising prices to cutting jobs, must be justified by one thing. Will it make shareholders richer? Who are these shareholders? They are the owners of the company's stock. Sometimes they are individuals like you and me who own a few shares through a retirement account or investment fund, but often they are giant institutional investors like BlackRock. And because BlackRock manages trillions of dollars, it owns shares in nearly every major company on Earth. Every share comes with a vote, and votes control who sits on the company's board of directors, the group that tells the CEO what to do. The more shares you own, the more votes you have. A small investor might own 100 shares and have 100 votes. But a company like BlackRock might own millions of shares, giving it a voice so powerful that it can influence who runs the company and how it operates. If a CEO refuses to follow the board's direction, the board can simply fire them and hire someone who will. That is how financial power becomes corporate power and how corporate power shapes society. So when people worry about BlackRock buying utilities and energy companies, they are not imagining things. It's not just about who owns what. It's about control. Who gets to decide how much you pay for your electricity, how much water costs, how much rent you pay, and how your economy functions. The unsettling truth is that this power lies in the hands of institutions whose only goal is profit. They are not evil, but they are not public servants either. They are financial machines designed to grow money, and in their pursuit of returns, they may reshape the foundations of everyday life. Yet amid this fear lies an important lesson. If you understand how this system works, you can protect yourself from it and even benefit from it. The same strategies that make BlackRock powerful can help ordinary people build wealth and independence. The first lesson is to become an investor yourself. The system is designed to reward those who own, not those who only work. Every dollar you invest gives you a small piece of ownership in the economy. And when the economy grows, your wealth grows too. As shocking as it sounds, the same forces that make people feel powerless can be turned into tools for empowerment. BlackRock's moves into energy and infrastructure are not random choices. They are based on a simple but profound principle: stability. In a world of economic chaos, rising inflation, geopolitical conflict, and rapid technological change, stability has become the ultimate treasure. Energy, water, and waste management are industries that will never disappear. People will always need them. For investors, this means a steady source of income that lasts for generations. BlackRock is positioning itself to own assets that produce continuous cash flow, assets that are essential no matter what happens in the stock market. This strategy is both brilliant and terrifying because it ensures that the company remains powerful even in times of crisis. At the same time, the world is changing faster than ever before. The rise of artificial intelligence is transforming industries, creating vast new demands for electricity and data. Data centers, which power AI, consume enormous amounts of energy. Every AI conversation, every cloud upload, every smart device runs on electricity. As AI expands, so does the need for power. BlackRock understands this better than most. By owning energy companies, it is not only securing profits from today's consumption, but also positioning itself for the future explosion of energy demand driven by AI and digital technology. In a sense, it is buying the fuel of the future. For ordinary investors, this insight is invaluable. If you can identify where the money is moving before it arrives, you can ride the wave of economic transformation instead of being crushed by it. The question to ask is not, what is popular now, but what will the world need tomorrow? The money is moving toward energy, infrastructure, cybersecurity, and the technologies that support the digital economy. Those who understand this movement can protect themselves against inflation and financial instability. Wealth creation, at its core, follows three factors: time, return, and money. The longer your money stays invested, the faster it can compound. The higher your rate of return, the faster your wealth grows, and the more money you invest, the larger your results will be. This is the TRM principle: time, return, and money. Unfortunately, most people focus only on earning more money, not on letting money work for them. The wealthy, on the other hand, use time and return as their secret weapons. They start early, invest consistently, and look for opportunities where the potential growth outweighs the risk. This is how financial independence is built, not through luck, but through understanding. Still, there is a darker side to this system. The more power concentrates in the hands of a few massive institutions, the less control ordinary people have over their own economic future. When the same few companies own shares in everything from your electricity provider to your grocery chain to your bank, the market stops being truly competitive. It becomes a web of interlocking interests managed from above. In such a world, prices can rise, innovation can slow, and public accountability can vanish. This is why it is not enough to invest blindly. You must invest intelligently, understanding where your money goes and what it supports. The key is to think like the giants, but act with independence. Follow the flows of capital, but do not depend on them. For example, when we talk about the rise of artificial intelligence, most people think of companies like NVIDIA or Microsoft. But the real opportunity lies in the layers beneath. AI creates a need for data centers, cybersecurity systems, cooling technologies, and energy supply chains. Each of these layers offers a different way to profit from the same technological wave. By thinking several steps ahead, you can position yourself where growth is inevitable, but competition is still small. This is what professional investors call second-order thinking, the ability to look beyond the surface. It may sound complex, but it starts with a simple mindset shift. Instead of fearing what large institutions like BlackRock are doing, study them, watch where they invest, and ask why. Their goal is stability and profit, and their research teams spend billions to find the safest long-term opportunities. You do not need to compete with them directly. You only need to understand the direction they are moving, because where they go, the economy often follows. If you can see those movements early, you can prepare yourself, your family, and your future. But time is critical. The global economy is changing faster than at any point in human history. Governments are drowning in debt, interest rates are rising, and automation is rewriting the rules of employment. The United States alone owes more than $37 trillion, and the interest on that debt is consuming a growing share of the national budget. As governments print more money to cover the shortfall, inflation eats away at the savings of ordinary people. In such an environment, keeping money in a bank account is no longer safe. The only way to preserve and grow wealth is to own assets, just as the giants do. The fear many people feel when they hear about BlackRock buying utilities is justified. It represents a world where financial power is merging with physical power, where those who own money also own the means of survival. But fear alone is not enough. The solution lies in awareness and participation. You cannot stop these changes, but you can adapt to them. The best defense against financial domination is financial education. The best protection against inflation is ownership. The best response to fear is strategy. So, what should you do now? Start by learning how to invest. Not gambling on short-term trends, but understanding long-term value. Focus on industries that will remain essential: energy, water, infrastructure, and technology. Understand that volatility is not your enemy. It is the price of opportunity. When the market crashes, assets go on sale. The smart investors buy when others panic. That is how wealth quietly shifts from the fearful to the informed. Next, think globally. The financial system is interconnected. What happens in the United States affects China, Europe, and everywhere else. When major asset managers move their capital, they create ripples across continents. Pay attention to these movements. For example, when large funds invest in renewable energy, It signals a long-term shift towards sustainability. When they buy data infrastructure, it shows where digital growth is heading. You do not need insider information, you need observation and patience. Finally, cultivate independence. Financial independence is not about being rich. It is about having control. Control over your time, your income, and your future. It begins with small actions, saving regularly, investing wisely, and continuously learning. The moment you start treating your money as an employee that works for you, not just something you spend, you begin to break free from the system's control. That is the mindset that separates those who are controlled by money from those who control it. In the end, the story of BlackRock is not just about one company. It is a mirror reflecting the transformation of the global economy. We are entering an age where capital is more powerful than government, where data is the new oil, and where energy is the key to everything. The institutions that understand this are quietly building the infrastructure of the future. The question is, will you be part of it, or will you be left behind? The truth is both frightening and inspiring. The world's wealth is consolidating into fewer hands, but the tools of wealth creation have never been more accessible. Anyone with knowledge, patience, and discipline can participate. The same system that empowers BlackRock can also empower you if you understand how it works. You cannot fight the wave, but you can ride it. The new age of power is already here. It is built not on politics, but on ownership. The companies that own the energy, the data, and the infrastructure will shape the next century. The people who learn to invest in those areas wisely, calmly, and strategically will shape their own destinies. The time for ignorance is over. The time for action is now. Learn what the powerful already know and use it to protect your future. The world is changing, and the only question that matters is whether you will change with it or be swept away by it.